welcoming Hare, Mr. Grant. Hello. Stay please, Mr. Grant.
Welcome, Mr. Grant, to the HSP, also known as the Hare Street Podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. So we've come up with a few questions about when you was being brought up in South Africa, and then also about Hare Street itself. So let's just get straight into it.
Awesome.
Me and Sirachi have got 4 questions to ask each. We're going to take it in turns. So how was your experience growing up?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
I've found my experience growing up was quite an exciting one, because I got to do lots of things that children nowadays would find terrifying. Things like hunting snakes and building dens out of tree branches and having my own axe and my own knife to carry around, it sounds a bit bushman-like, but to be honest with you, that was the normal life for a child in South Africa when I was young, and we did all sorts of dangerous stuff. It was really, really good fun.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It wasn't all dangerous. It was some of it was really, fun to do, but we did do lots of things that I think children nowadays might go, oh my god.
Okay. How does it feel to be deputy head teacher?
Well, my title is actually assistant head. I would say I've got a lot of things to do, and sometimes I choose to do a lot, which I need to get better at doing. I like it because I get to know all of the children in the school, and it's a job that I think everybody should try to do at some point, because it's great being a teacher, but it's also nice to be on the other end where you can see all of the workings of a school and get the big picture.
Yeah.
What type of animals were there in South Africa?
Well, we had pets growing up, so the normal ones. We had dogs, we had cats. But the sorts of things that I encountered on a very regular basis were things like, we call them dussies, which are like, I think they're related to the rabbit in some way, without the big ears and the tails. They were all over the place, and they made these really weird noises. But we also had snakes, lots of snakes, cobras mainly, and the Afrikaans word for the snake that I used to see a lot was the rinkhals, which meant that it had a ring, like a necklace, around its neck, 2 stripes, so when it raised its hood, you could see the stripes very, very clearly. They were poisonous snakes, and they are venomous in the sense that if you got too close, they would spray venom into the eyes of the attacker to try and defend themselves. And my sister was almost blinded by one when she was your age.
Oh, okay.
You can ask a question about that if you want. If you want to find out more, you don't have to just stick to these.
Do you want to know more about it?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you the story. We were busy renovating our house, and my dad had an old bathroom in the bathroom that we were an old bathtub, in the bathroom that we were renovating, and it was filled with tiles and bricks and all sorts of bits and bobs. And a snake, the cobra, had gotten into the bathtub and had curled up in amongst the bricks because it was nice and cool. Snakes tend to like cool places, especially in hot countries like South Africa, where it gets pretty hot outside. They come indoors, they find shelter, and cool places are great for them when they're not in the sun. So my sister went in, but all she could see was the snake's head. And she was shouting to my mum, Mum, there's a frog in the bath. And she went closer to it, and as she went closer, it raised its hood and sprayed venom into her eyes, and she ran out screaming. And I've never seen my sister run so fast. And the thing that you have to do when that happens is pour lots and lots of milk into the eyes of the person that has been spat at, because it neutralizes the poison. And once we'd done that and we rushed her to the doctor said that saved her eyesight, because if we hadn't done that, she'd have been blind today.
Okay. How long have you been working at Hare Street?
I've been working at Hare Street since 2003, so that makes it 22. This is my 22nd year. So a rather long time. I feel like a part of the furniture.
So, what was your favourite African food, and is it still your favourite?
Oh, my favourite African food has got to be something called a bunny chow. Now, a bunny chow is not a rabbit, okay? Just sounds like it. It's a loaf of white bread, and you hollow the loaf out, and then you pour curry into it.
Ooh.
And the South African curries can be quite hot,
Yeah.
but really, really tasty. And that goes into the bread, and then you use the bit of the bread that you've taken out as the lid, and you pop it on the top.
Oh.
And it's a workman's food essentially, a little bit like the pasty used to be in England. The bunny chow was a workman's food because it acted as the plate, and it was also the food. So you could eat the bread and dip it into the curry as you went along, and you ended up with the last bit of bread in your hand, which you could eat. And there was no plate, no knives and forks, nice easy carry around. But now it's one of the most expensive items on a menu in a restaurant in South Africa because of I suppose they've gone to town on the recipes for the curry and the bread and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that's my favourite.
Sounds nice.
It is.
What has been your favourite memory at Hare Street?
One of my favourite memories has got to be making the mosaic pictures that you can see just outside my classroom. It was a job that we did. We'd managed to get a bunch of free tiles from a local company, Pentagon Tiles I think they were called, and they donated a bunch of Italian tiles of all sorts of colours and types, and we thought, how can we best use these tiles to do something that might last a long time? We decided to come up with 4 images, or 5 images I think it was, and use the tiles to make it. And I used to spend most of my lunches in my classroom, and children would just come in through the doors and have a go at putting bits of tiles into the pictures and leave smelling like glue and with a few scratches on their fingers, but it was good fun. And the end product, obviously, as you can see, are some lovely bits of work that the kids have produced. So yeah, that's one of my favourite memories.
They look amazing as well. So, what was your favourite childhood memory growing up in South Africa?
I was very, very lucky, and as I said to you already, I had quite a lot of freedom growing up, and the sense of being able to do pretty much what I wanted was the best part of it. And I was lucky enough. My uncle owned a farm, and he was getting rid of a horse because it was a bit cantankerous. It had a saddle sore, and it was a bit angry with all the other horses. So he thought best way to do this was to separate it. So he phoned me up one day and said, "Do you want a horse?" And I said, "Yes, please." We were very, very lucky. We had a 6-acre plot which had its own dam. It was all fenced in, and for a number of years I had my own horse, and that was, certainly my fondest memory growing up, is having that horse to look after, and just being wild and free.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came to England?
I came over in 1999, so I would have been 29 years old.
So, they're all the questions that we've got, but they were definitely fascinating, and I loved those answers, especially the African food thing.
Yeah, well, you should try it. They're easy to make.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask if I can make it at home. But
Get a nice cheap loaf of white bread.
Yeah.
Slice it in half, and then 2 people can have.
Yeah. And then
Hollow
my
it out.
brother can have it.
Get Mum to make you a curry. Chuck it in there.
Yeah, and try
Bosh,
it.
you've got it.
So thank you for coming on the HSP, also known as the Hare Street podcast. We've loved having you, and I'm sure the viewers would have loved having you as well. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed that.